Hello. When my parents reached their 90s, we persuaded them to employ a gardener. This was a painful and watershed moment, given that my dad had tended the garden regularly for nearly 70 years. The beloved greenhouse had been out of use for a few years, and the only sign of life was a large triffid-like vine left to grow wild, so much so that it had made a bid for freedom through a broken glass pane in the roof. The vine had been around for as long as I could remember, and had withstood years of harsh winters and hot summers, storms and all sorts of conditions. And undaunted, it kept growing and blossoming, sending out tendrils and growing a complex network of branches. And it was this memorable vine that got me thinking about the true vine, the one mentioned in John's Gospel, where Jesus declares, "I am the true vine." And typically, using everyday examples like mustard seed, bread and yeast, salt, and the vine, he told stories to make his point. And for Jesus and the people of ancient Palestine, wine was part of the staple diet, and a welcome accompaniment at meals and on social occasions like weddings. Jesus was probably familiar with vine growing, given that he taught his friends and followers that disconnected from the true vine denies people God's sustaining love and life. The message then is clear. Stay close to God and in contact. Like many people, I'm partial to a baked apple or an apple crumble. So imagine my disappointment a few years ago in early spring when I had to use a saw on one of the apple trees. Snow froze on the tree, and the weight caused a branch to snap and was left hanging from the main trunk. It was clearly not worth saving. And so it's less baked apples and crumbles in the future, with the main branch removed. Whether it's apple trees or vines, when branches become disconnected from their life source, they cease to flourish. And God is interested in our flourishing. I've been wondering whether the current crisis will encourage people to reconnect with their spiritual roots and draw from the true vine. Listening to people, there are many who yearn for a deep well of belief and tradition to refresh those parts others can't reach. Now, caretakers are worth their weight in gold, but using God like we would a caretaker, to whom we go only when we want something or we hit a problem, is falling short of abiding in Christ, the true vine. Some attach themselves to vines that are false or less than genuine. They reach out for vines made of plastic or ones that are inappropriate or unreal. Importantly, abiding in the true vine is something we do together. Faith is not private. It is social, it is corporate, and this we particularly miss at present. By being together, by staying connected in partnership with the gospel and the true vine, faith is made strong and resilient, and bears us spiritual fruit. And let's remember, the man who was the true vine lives today in bread and wine. And the apple tree branch that I removed recalls the perils of becoming disconnected from our source of nourishment and spiritual growth. And that seemingly indestructible and neglected vine in my parents' greenhouse, which continued to grow and give in the midst of challenging conditions and neglect, reminded me of the true vine and the importance of staying connected to the true vine. Because by so doing, we read and hear of the deeds of an amazing God. We are fed spiritually at the Lord's table, and we connect with an amazing God present with us by his Spirit, and a God who can set us free.